Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So today I'm going to respond to some weird, silly, odd comments that I've gotten recently from our YouTube videos. This video today is going to contrast differently from ones I've done in the past responding to comments, because those past ones I picked the most evil, mean, hateful, bigoted, anti-vegan comments that I got in that time period. So I don't want to amplify hate. You know, the world's already got enough hate and stuff like that. So I'm going to respond just to weird, odd comments I got and try to set the record straight on a few issues. So let's jump right in. So this first one comes from who I assume is a triggered raw foodist. He or she says, "Cooked food is addictive and energy draining. We are not used to being fully energized 20 hours a day." Well, so much wrong with those two sentences I read there. First of all, you said cooked food is energy draining. Then at the same time you said we're not used to being energized 20 hours a day. I mean, I assume you're talking about cooked food there, so which is it, energy draining or it gives us too much energy? So apart from the apparent contradiction there in their comment, let's get to the more juicy part here about cooked food being addictive. I mean, I've made so many videos covering cooked food addiction. It just takes a little quick Google search to see if what raw foodists say about cooked food being addictive is true. And according to Google Gemini's AI overview, the raw foodists are right to some weird degree. There is actual scientific evidence that highly processed foods, which are cooked, especially those high in fat, sugar, and salt, activate the brain's reward centers in a way that can lead to compulsive eating and addictive-like behaviors. Well, a broken clock is right twice a day, assuming we're talking about old analog clocks, but you know, all joking aside, this is not what raw foodists intend when they say that cooked food's addictive. They're not talking about specifically highly processed foods. They're talking about all cooked foods, meaning a potato even. So once we factor out highly processed foods, you'll see that there's absolutely no scientific evidence of any kind saying that eating whole food plants is addicting. And I just want to make it clear, I have nothing against raw food people in general. I mean, I've met some really nice ones. I've seen many make it work for them over the long term. The reason why raw foodists don't like me in general is because I often make response videos to their influencers when they make complete, just insane claims like, you know, raw food diets can reverse every disease known to man, giving people false hope based on just anecdotal reports and stories, or just some guy's intuition because he thinks he's a raw shaman, crap like that. I want people to know what the actual evidence-based information is. So hell, if you don't like evidence-based information and you like woo-woo from a shaman, it's your choice. It's a free country still. Alright, so let's check out the next silly comment. "I have known 6 highly intelligent vegans and swore all vegans live longer and live a better life, all died in their 70s and suffered serious health issues before passing?" Alright, so a lot of confusion going on in that comment. Not sure where to start, but let me start with what I think is obvious. So this person seems to be saying that because some vegans he or she knew died in their 70s, that means the vegan diet's a fail, like they died prematurely or something like that. Well, I'm not sure where you're from, but here in the United States, the average lifespan is around like 77, 78 years old. So a vegan or any person dying in their 70s is pretty much the norm. So you can't blame any diet for someone dying when they pretty much ought to be dying. Secondly, you assume that there's some kind of vegan diet that all 6 of your friends or all millions of us vegans follow. No, there's no such thing as a vegan diet. Veganism is not a diet. It's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. And there's tons of ways you can eat as a vegan. Some are super healthy and some are crap. Like you just could have beer and Oreos and call yourself a vegan if you're against animal cruelty and exploitation. Alright, so getting back to their comment, he or she says that all 6 of their vegan friends swore that vegans live longer or something like that. Well, just because people swear about something being true doesn't make that proposition or claim to be true. I mean, they may have believed that with some good evidence. Like there's research out there that shows that vegans, or at least those who follow healthy plant-based diets, are associated with lower risk of all-cause mortality. However, when we ask Google Gemini, do vegans live longer? It says there's studies that support vegan longevity and some studies that contradict vegan longevity. So, it says, while some studies suggest that vegans may live longer than non-vegans, the evidence is not conclusive. So, more research is needed to determine the true impact of a vegan diet on life expectancy. So believe it or not, I'm with Google here. I'm not like with this person's supposedly, deceased vegan friends were saying that, yeah, vegan diet, you're going to live a long time and all this stuff. I really don't know either. So I support what Google's saying here. Yeah, there should be more ongoing research so we can have better information about whether or not eating a healthy plant-based diet will on average add some more years onto your life. For right now though, I am very confident knowing that following a healthy, well-planned plant-based vegan diet is nutritionally adequate, and nowhere here do they say it will take years off of your life. Alright, so next comment. It's pretty hilarious that your entire channel is you criticizing others, but when the roles are reversed, you get all defensive. I'm pretty sure this comment came from my video responding to VD. So anyway, let's put this in perspective here. I don't spend my entire time on this channel criticizing others. I respond to other people's misinformation. Like when I was talking about when raw foodists make these crazy claims like cooked food's addicting, it'll cure every disease known to man, or when Joe Rogan says that vegan diets are going to turn men into women, or whatever. I respond to misinformation, and I just don't respond saying, oh, look at Joe Rogan or these raw fruitarian people, they're all stupid. No, I actually respond with scientific information, evidence-based information to make my point, rather than just trying to get all emotional or just make crap up like Joe and the raw fruitarian people typically do, or VD for that matter. So yeah, I think it's okay for me to react in that way. It's not critiquing others. I'm not attacking them personally. This channel is not about ad hominem attacks. It's responding with evidence-based information. So if you have a problem with that, if it ruffles your feathers, well, tough shit. It looks like someone is missing a mustache. Well, you noticed it's only been like 8 years since I shaved that thing off. Like, where have you been? Alright, so next question. Can I still dunk a basketball? Interesting question. Kind of curious why you're asking that. Are you asking from a good place, or are you trying to like catch me if you're some kind of carnivore? Look, he can't dunk a basketball anymore. But I'll answer this question. I have nothing to hide or anything. But anyway, the last time I dunked a basketball was about 3 years ago. I was age 55 then. And it was like the best dunk I could do at 55. My dunks are much better when I was like 51 years old. What a difference 4 years makes. But anyway, yeah, back then I was doing training, like specifically for dunking, a certain way of like doing resistance training and plyometrics, where I neglected other parts of basketball, like say shooting and just ball handling skills and conditioning. So I haven't done any dunk training for at least like maybe 2 years or so. And even if I had been wanting to work on dunking for the past year or so, it would have been interrupted by a few injuries, most notably a foot injury, a foot sprain I got around Christmas of last year. It kept me from being able to do anything real on the basketball courts for maybe like 3 months or so. So that would have just blown out any training gains I would have had before then. So yeah, bottom line is, yeah, if I were to go to the gym right now and try dunking, I'm pretty sure they would just bang off the back of the rim. Alright, so the final comment I'll look at today here is, I'm not trying to be rude, but why do you go to Disneyland if you're not bringing kids? First of all, like, why does it matter to you where me and my wife go on our free time? I mean, why are you trying to control like what we do as adults in a free country? It's not the first time I've encountered this hate, this bigotry towards adults without kids who go to Disneyland. It's funny how they think they know better than the founder, Walt Disney, who said so eloquently, "To all that come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land." Note how he didn't say, but if you're an adult, you better bring kids or else I'm gonna have issues with you. And I find it kind of amusing and ironic that this guy left this comment on this short video that Angie made of us at a bar, the Palm Breeze Bar, enjoying some guacamole and chips, and we didn't show it in this particular video, but we were also enjoying a Prosecco, an Italian wine. And to stay parallel with how I responded to earlier comments in this video, we asked Google Gemini, is Disneyland only for kids? And it said no, Disneyland is not just for kids, and gave some very tangible reasons why it's actually better to not go with kids. For instance, enjoying rides at your own pace without the need to manage children, which means as adults without children, we have the complete freedom to ride whatever rides we want to ride, or as we often do, don't even ride any rides at all. Imagine taking children to Disneyland and saying, hey, we're not going on any rides at all. We're gonna go eat chips and guacamole at a bar while mom and dad drink some Italian wine. Which leads to Google's next 2 points, how you can experience more food options and benefit from adult-oriented features like going to bars and having alcohol. But yeah, that's why we go. Now for alcohol and bars, we rarely drink there, by the way, guys. We just do it on rare special occasions, and we had one that day. But yeah, experience more food options. That's why we go. I don't know if most of you guys know this or not. You should if you watch Angie's shorts. But yeah, the Disneyland and just the Disney parks in general, we usually go to Disney California Adventure. They have fantastic vegan, plant-based options there, and they're very well marked as being plant-based, which in Disneyland language means vegan. So yeah, it's like going to a vegan festival, and they change the options around all the time. So yeah, it's a wonderful place for vegans. And by the way, before any of you guys think we're super rich, we're going to Disneyland, blowing $200 a person for tickets and buying all this booze. No, we have annual passes. That's the cheapest passes they have. They're reserved only for people who have special local Southern California zip codes. So that's what we do. And when we go, we don't go all day like most of you guys are probably used to doing. We go typically 3, maybe 4 hours. Yeah, get some coffee, eat some food, go on a couple rides, then go home and start working. Anyway, despite all that, if you think we're like super entitled, privileged vegans because we go to Disneyland for 3 or 4 hours in the morning before we get back here in the afternoon and start our work as self-employed people, let us know down below and be specific as how that's like ruining the fabric of society or something like that. And anyway, if you like what I had to say, be cool, do all the nice stuff, hit like, subscribe to our channel, make sure you have the notification bell hit so you can see all these YouTube shorts that Angie makes. A lot of times I hear people saying, where's Angie? I don't see her in your videos. Yeah, she's making her own. She's making all the cool food videos on the YouTube shorts. So anyway, if you liked what I said or didn't like what I said, it's all good. You're free to have your own opinions. And come to my Friday live streams and tell me what you think. They're on Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be chill, be civil, and we could probably have a conversation. So until then, I'm looking forward to seeing you Friday. And remember, it's like being vegan.